Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video, and today I'm taking a look at Earthshock, starring Peter Davison as played by, the Fifth Doctor as played by Peter Davison even, PG. You've got a Cyberman there, which kind of gives away that it's a Cyberman story, but I can imagine it was pretty exciting to see, for the first time really, sort of classic Doctor Who serial, episode that's called something that isn't like, Revenge of the Cybermen or Tomb of the Cybermen or something like that, or, Dalek Invasion of Earth or something. So, you go into this probably, or they did back then, probably not knowing the Cybermen were going to be in it. Doctor Who, BBC, PG again, all the same sort of stuff on the spine, and the legal guff, the special features stuff, and the strip of screenshots. On the inside you've got the disc and the writer's notes. And so yeah, I think this, considering this is the last episode in the first season that Peter Davison did, this is superb, an absolute amazing story. I've only just realised this though after watching it, that both the Fourth Doctor, his last episode in his first season, season 12, is a Cyberman story, and the same with Peter Davison, which is pretty funny really when you think about it. Just a little random coincidence really. But yeah, that's how long a bigger gap they had between Revenge of the Cybermen and Earthshock, and so it must have been a big shock. See what I did there? When the Cybermen appear. They don't appear until the end of part 1, to my knowledge, or near the latter end, really near the latter end of part 1, which is awesome because it just lets us sort of see the Cybermen, and you could probably be like, oh my god, what? And then the next 3 episodes are the bits where you get, the more, juicy bits of the Cybermen doing stuff and being vindictive and evil, and that the Cybermen are brilliant in this story, easily one of the best, if not the best, Cyberman story in colour, at least. And that, in my opinion, I genuinely think the Cybermen have not been translated that well into colour, and that into the colour age that well. I don't know what it is. I mean, I think there's only maybe this and maybe that David Tennant 2-parter that I really like, and that really a lot. And even then with that David Tennant 2-parter, I'm not a big fan of the Cybermen in that story, in the sense that they're not the Mondasian Cybermen. But then again, that's only as I've got older and found out more about Doctor Who's backstory and more of the mythology and lore behind monsters and enemies and stuff. So obviously at the time when I first watched it, I was probably like, oh my god, that's the best Cyberman story ever. But anyway, Peter Davison's performance, amazing. I think the TARDIS crew team dynamic works semi-well here. I think the major gripe I have with this story is the fact that Nyssa gets sidelined. Aside from that though, everything else works so well. It's one of these classic Doctor Who episodes that I can definitely say the pacing, the direction, all of it just slots into place so meticulously and well, and that, there's no dragging, there's no pace issues, there's no bit where I thought, actually, that bit should maybe be at the end and not at the beginning. The droids, the drone-like, droid-like things, androids even, at the beginning look menacing and evil and, very, very simplistic, but very effective by the same way as well, like when Snyder at the beginning is dead and then there's all that goop, and that, Pete Davison again is giving one of his best performances here, easily, as the Fifth Doctor. I love how, unlike the Fourth and Sixth Doctor, this Doctor is a lot more kind-hearted, but by that same token, it's interesting to see him when he's a bit more agitated and, for lack of a better word, a bit more pissy with his companions, a bit more agitated, a bit more aggressive, a bit more on edge, He's still nowhere near as aggressive or emotionally distant or, for lack of a better word, arrogant as the Fourth or Sixth Doctor, but he's still a bit, a bit not nice at times to Adric in this story, at the beginning at least, and then you see, them form a really good friendship and have really good, dynamic between the two of them, really like a father and son relationship even, almost even, because like, Adric's like, no, Doctor, I want to learn. Just tell me what it is. And the Doctor's just like, no, you won't understand. And it's very much like what I imagine a good father-son dynamic is like, that the son asks the dad a lot of questions, and then the dad is kind of like, yeah, okay, maybe when you're a bit older, or when I think you're more ready, and you're, as a kid, you're always that bit more like, no, I'm ready, trust me, I know what I'm doing, type thing. I absolutely love the fact that this whole episode sort of starts here and then goes back into this loop, and it ties itself up really nicely. And you'll know what I mean if you've seen this story. Spoiler alert: this is the historically famous for being the Doctor Who episode where Adric dies. So, and I mean, I think that works really well because it's made it stick out from the other episodes in Peter Davison's era. But not only because of the Sidemen, but because of his death, but also it's a game changer, and it also means that, it shook up the show, it changed the course of what was to come next as well, after, the fact that, Adric, had, died in this story, and I think, you get this group dynamic, the Pete Davison era is renowned for having this group dynamic of Tegan, Nyssa, and Adric, and then for one of them to die is very, impactful, I can imagine, back then, and that, very unexpected, I can imagine, as well, on first viewing. And that, I mean, I have a very big soft spot for this story because, fun fact, on a personal level, this, Earthshock and Genesis of the Daleks were the two first classic Doctor Who episodes I ever got from, Xavi in town where I live and that. So, yeah, just amazing, I got them both for, like, discount price as well because Xavi was closing. And so, yeah, what a brilliant way to get into Doctor Who. With these two brilliant stories. But because this was the shorter one, I always watch this one like a lot, and I've watched it so many times. It's amazing. The special effects, the costume design of the Cybermen, the atmosphere in those caves, Nyssa is good in the bits that she does get, and I think she gets more bits in the earlier parts, in maybe part 1 and 2. Or mainly part 1 even, and then definitely takes a back seat by part 2, 3, and even 4, which is a shame really, because Peter Davison has gone on record to say that if he was to have just one main companion throughout most of his tenure, he would have liked it to be Sarah Sutton, who plays Nyssa. So yeah, but that doesn't take anything away from this story. I think, the fact that Nyssa isn't in it that much, doesn't really take away from it, because to be fair, as I've just said a while ago, seeing as it's Adric's last story, it's only fair to mainly have him as the centre of, or point of focus, so to speak, the centre of attention. Tegan, normally is annoying in a lot of her stories, but she is really toned down in this. I found her a lot more bearable, but that might be because, again, she's not in it as much. It would definitely go Adric, obviously the Doctor, Adric, Tegan, and then Nyssa right at the bottom, out of the TARDIS crew, so to speak. Then you get these military characters who are alright. The main military general's the best, probably, character of that. Then you get these 2 people or 3 people on this ship, and they're pretty decent as well. Easily a brilliant story again. The music, again, a lot of music in the classic series, especially in the Third Doctor, or First, Second and Third Doctor era, for myself, is just so, like, volume-wise, so high-pitched that I really feel uncomfortable when listening to that music, or when that music is on. I appreciate synthesized music, but here... here the music is so toned down and so meticulously well composed and meticulously you know, along with the visuals, you know, so meticulously put to alongside, yeah, the visuals and that it makes it so fluid and well, you know, and makes for a good visual sort of cue, you know. You're being told, you know, but one of these life forms is ectopic, and then that guy's like, what does that mean? It means he's got 2 hearts. And then this synthesized sort of do 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 type sort of like Doctor Who theme sort of plays, and it's like, whoa, what? Like, it just adds layers and depth to this story that in some other classic stories they lack, unfortunately. Even if they do have decent music, it's just so over the top that it sort of takes me out of the experience personally as a person with sensitive hearing. But yeah, I mean, I would give Earthshock easily a 10 out of 10. One of the best Peter Davison stories, up there with The Five Doctors and Resurrection of the Daleks and a lot of other good stories. I've probably watched this one as much as Robot and Genesis, so yeah, of the Daleks. So yeah, 10 out of 10 from me. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, and subscribe, and please do tell me what you think about this story in the comment section below. Goodbye.